Hello everybody, it's Dante here. We hope you're all having a festive holiday season, and you better be streaming The Queen of Christmas, the national anthem of the world, All I Want for Christmas Is You. But seriously, Ari and I are happy to announce that season 2 of PenPop is coming soon. Now, in the meantime, we have a little aperitif, an amuse-bouche, a little baked brie before our main turkey course, so you can get ready for the next season of PenPop. We had the opportunity to be a guest on our friend Norris Jay's podcast, Come Get a Sip, to talk all about Christmas music, from Hot Topics to Mariah Carey's ascension to the Christmas throne, the Grinches of the world, to the future of pop stars creating holiday tunes. So here's a little preview to the full episode. If you're not a Scrooge, you can check out the full episode on Come Get a Sip or Norris's YouTube, which is all linked in the description below. So enjoy the snippet and happy holidays.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Come Get a Sip, the podcast where we talk about all things culture, entertainment, music, TV, all of that. Thank you for joining us for our very special holiday music extravaganza episode featuring two very special guests. They are the host of the PenPop podcast, which explores two music connoisseurs with a love for pop music culture, ready to dissect and analyze classic pop songs into their own proper interpretations with no English degree, but a whole lot of outrageous hot takes. Please welcome my friends, Dante and Ari. Hello.
Thank you.
Hello.
How are y'all doing? How's it going? How's the holiday season?
It's great.
Thanks for having us. I'm feeling festive. I'm ready to continue the festivities.
Yes. So happy to have you both on the podcast. So before we get into the holiday music of it all, we're going to be talking about some of our favorite songs. We're going to talk about the history of holiday music, the impact of, if you're watching on YouTube, this lady right here, Mariah Carey. Let us start with checking in. This is a roundup segment where we basically just talk about all of the biggest or some of the biggest topics of the week. So for this week, as we head into the end of 2023, the box office and the movies are a big topic right now. Obviously, Renaissance, a film by Beyonce, also The Color Purple, Fantasia, Taraji, all of them. Very excited for that. Anyone But You. I don't know if there are any Glenn Powell or Sydney Sweeney fans listening right now. I'm not sure if that's my target audience, but if you're here, hello. And then next year, we got some movies like Mean Girls, Bad Boys 4, Wicked. So Dante and Ari, what movies, I know the first one I'm going to hear, but what movies are y'all most excited for that are coming up?
For me, like you said, Renaissance is already, I'm planning on buying 2 more tickets to the following shows because I know that I'm going to love it. I just know it. But the one I'm actually really excited for is The Color Purple. Holly, Fantasia. You said Taraji too? I didn't know Taraji was on it.
Yeah.
Well, more the reasons to go. But I really want to see what Holly does outside of the Disney extravaganza. But yeah, those are the ones I'm looking really forward to.
Like you said, you got us. Renaissance, we have our tickets. I'm going multiple times. I'm currently repairing my disco hat because she needs I DIY'd it because I'm not paying those Etsy prices, guys. So she needs some repairing because I'm getting my opulence look together for the Renaissance film. And we have fingers crossed that hopefully Canty Y4 News will make an appearance. I don't know. So I will be watching.
That would be amazing.
I don't know,
do you want to explain for the listeners who are living under a rock and do not know about KNTY News?
Well, it's a little series we may have started where basically we documented the entire tour, the whole Renaissance World Tour, and each date we were basically reporting as Canty Y4 News reporters. As we know, she also does in the mind control section of the show during America Has a Problem. So it's just something we did off the fly and it took off. And multiple people have seen it. So I don't know. She's mother's always watching. So we don't know what's gonna happen.
I hope she watched it.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, people have been posting it. Publications have been posting about it. So it was a very big moment. Always love watching y'all's videos. Very entertaining.
Thanks.
Remind me over y'all names on the videos. I remember Blue
I'm Renee
Buzzington.
Thick.
Renee Thick and Blue Buzzington.
Blue
Yes.
Buzzington. But yeah, so Renaissance for sure. And then I'm also excited to see the color purple too as well. Like echoing what Ari said. Excited to see Holly, excited to see Fantasia. I was just listening to her Christmas album actually. Really
Ooh,
underrated.
yes,
I
very
love
much
it.
so.
And I'm also really excited to see Wicked because I'm excited to see, I've actually never seen Wicked. So I'm excited to see it in movie form with Ariana and Cynthia.
Yeah, actually, I don't know what Wicked is about,
And
which
it's
is
two
kind of
No
parts.
idea. Oh,
I
it's
don't
two
think
two.
parts.
I don't think it's till next year, but they're filming both parts
Mm,
now.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
I'm interested
Well,
to see.
yeah, that's very exciting. So much coming up that so much coming up to be excited about. So we're all looking forward to all of that. Renaissance, we will see y'all in a couple days in the theater fighting over posters. I'm gonna be there
Mm-hmm.
super early, which will probably be very hard for me, but we'll see how that goes. Also in the news recently, celebrity memoirs have been a big topic this fall. We have had some high profile releases from Britney Spears and Jada Pinkett Smith in particular. Obviously, a lot of revelations in each of those memoirs, a lot to discuss. But Dante and Ari, how do you feel about just in terms of those memoirs, but also just the broader topic of celebrity memoirs? What do you think are some of the big takeaways that we should take from those memoirs, especially when, they become so sensationalized, people try to focus on like the dirt, what do you feel we should be taking away from these moments?
I really dove into Britney's memoir because I'm actually, obviously, I grew up with her, but I wasn't super familiar with her whole catalog. So, like you said, I kind of knew when a memoir was going to come out. Seeing from what was making the headlines when Mariah's memoir came out. Really, I just try to appreciate the art itself and what they did. I'm always looking for the stories behind those iconic songs like Hit Me Baby One More Time or Toxic. And I think one of the biggest takeaways I took away from Britney's memoir is really, and Jada as well, is to really just make sure that you have good people in your circle that have your back. And not only that, what I took away was you need to really make sure that you have your control over your life. I think when so many things happen to us and there's lots of different distractions out there, we kind of want to avoid things. But I know, and I know I do that sometimes, but really I have to remind myself that I don't want to be put into these situations and I want to make sure that I am in full control of my life and take it step by step each day to just be where I want to be.
Also, like the main takeaway from the artist's perspective that I understand it as is like what they're putting out, that's what maybe they want us to hear. So, I feel like, especially with the Britney, it's just the tabloids or social media just wants the quickest story to get, a reading or whatever, like clicks. And I think when they took the time to write these stories that's probably what they wanted us to hear. So, for example, when Britney talked about her whole, discography or behind the scenes, same as Mariah. Like I know for me, when I listen to Mariah, like I'll say a little moment here. Butterfly was not one of my, like when I first listened, was not one of my favorites.
Ooh.
I know. Listen. I know. Walk with me. It was not. Everybody was hating it, and I was like, it's not my favorite because I have music box. Like I just, Charm Bracelet, one of my favorites. I'm sorry, it's just it's not topped. But then when I listened to her book, her memoir, her talking about it, describing the scenes, I couldn't help but when I listen again, feel back in that story, Mariah's struggle. And now it's my most played album, Butterfly Supreme.
I told him he would come around because I had the exact same reaction. I was like, now,
yeah.
And
I think it was just not understanding the story. That's really what it was. So when you're when you're writing this book and you're now telling me a story that I can personalize with the music, that's really what connects me to all these memoirs, to make your story more personable. And that's what I think now we're lacking. Artists are not personable. They're not like, you're not tangible. You can't touch them. You can't feel them. But when they write the stories and you read their struggles, you're like, wow, that's what they went through. So you make your art more lovable, I guess, for me.
And also like seeing those messages in their work as well. As I know, after I read Britney's memoir, I went into her whole discography and now I'm kind of in a Britney phase right now. And I'm seeing the different signs and different messages that she was putting out that she fully explored in her book. And I'm just happy that her and Jada, you know, they've overcome a lot of struggles and hopefully they're living their best lives now.
I was just really happy that Brittany was able to tell her story in her own words, because like so much of what we have known about her has been through the eyes of the tabloids or other people speaking about it. So just hearing her be able to tell her story uninterrupted was really beautiful. I personally kind of tuned out of Jada's just because, like, for me, like with a celebrity memoir, it's like, do I want to know more about you? Like, do I want to know like the stories behind your music, the stories behind your struggles? And I think sometimes with memoirs, I don't. You know, I don't say that from a place of like lack of compassion or anything. I say it more from a place of, I feel like sometimes the aura around memoirs, certain memoirs can lean into like the sensational side of things more. Like here's like, oh, revelation about like, you know, Tupac having alopecia.
It's just not what we want to hear right now. You know what I mean?
It's just like every day on Twitter, I'm like,
right, exactly. Still, you know, love Jada, love Will, love everybody. I was really excited to hear Brittany's story. I'm really grateful to her for opening up and sharing that. So yeah, that is it for this week's checking in segment. If you have any topics that you want us to talk about in the future, feel free to hit us up on socials at Come Get a Sip. Just drop us a line and let us know what you want us to talk about. Okay, now we can get into the main reason we are here, which is holiday music. This is our Come Get a Sip holiday music extravaganza. Welcome. The holidays and holiday music are very personal to a lot of people. They carry a lot of sentimental value, a lot of emotion tied up into all of it. So before we dive into anything, I want to ask each one of you, what does holiday music mean to you personally?
I come from Cuba, so we don't really celebrate Christmas. As I grew up, I wasn't really involved with the Christmas spirit. But when I got here, like school-wise, you know, we went to a Catholic school, me and Dane. So we kind of exposed to it all the time. And Christmas was a very big thing. And as I grew here, I was more involved with it. But I would have to say, like, Dante really was the one that inspired more Christmas in me, because he's the only person that I know that celebrates Christmas accurately. My family still doesn't. I'm gotten more into the spirit, as you can see. And I always have to say Mariah too. Like, come on. Like I said, when I got into her discography, Christmas just, come on. But now I would say that now I'm more into the Christmas spirit. As when I was younger, I wasn't really as involved in it. But to me, Christmas music, it just feels gospel. It feels a reunion with God, even though sometimes it's not about God at all. But when you hear true, authentic, like, you know, talking about Christmas music, like Whitney's album, like the stories, it just reminds me of church, reminds me of grandma's peppermint in the bag, like Victoria Monet said, with the grandma with the peppermint. No, it just reminds me of like a joyful spirit. It's a spirit of, you know, happiness and community. It's just a feeling you can't really explain.
That's exactly what it is. Like, it's a feeling I can't describe. I don't know. I've always had the Christmas spirit growing up, even though even my family is not necessarily that much into Christmas. Like, everybody rolls their eyes. And I think that's why I relate to Mariah so much, is because I have this love for the holidays and I just want to celebrate it and be festive. And everybody's hating on it all the time. Like, I'm November 1st, the tree goes up, the music goes on, and like people look at me like, oh, like crazy. Really? And I'm like, and what about it? Like, I'm happy and it makes me feel good. And honestly, especially now when I'm in school, like it is my lifeline. Like, it is the only thing I look forward to. And like Ari was saying, it's the nostalgia, it's the spirit. I think it's a time where everybody comes together. And I think also the familiarity of it, I think gives comfort to me and other people, because you do the same traditions every year. It's the same kind of colors. And so, yes, I try to push the Christmas spirit like Mariah. And I think I've pushed it a little bit too much to Ari, and that's okay, because I need people to share the festivities of it all with me.
For me, biggest thing, starting at least, was family. Just hearing these songs every year, sort of connecting them to, like, you know, those traditions with family, you know, gathering for like Christmas dinner, like going to church. on Christmas Eve. But I think as like time progressed, it sort of became really just this reminder of joy and the importance of joy. My grandmother had passed away like 3 days before Christmas back in 2014. And, you know, Christmases after that were still festive in some part, but they were also sadder for my family in large part. So for me, Christmas music was really a way to recapture the joy in a way that honors the sensitivity of the time, the holiday season, and that also brings around joy at the end of the year at a time when I feel like we all really need it. You know, time goes back an hour and, you know, it gets dark early, it's cold, the weather's miserable. Holiday music, I feel, is a great transition into winter, at least until December 25th. We can have like that festive spirit to keep us warm inside as it's getting colder outside. Christmas music really for me is just about like the persistence of joy. So talking about Christmas music in particular, traditionally holiday music, holiday songs, and albums have been a staple in a lot of artists' discography. You know, you've seen so many artists like those greats from like the 60s, 70s, 80s who have Christmas albums like Patti LaBelle, Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder, the Jackson 5, Gladys Knight and the Pips, so many of them. Mm-hmm. But it's often something, not always, but often something that happens in later stages of an artist's career. You know, it's like that. Like you would say, Dante, that one chance to, you know, have like a big boost in sales, a big boost in popularity annually. But we saw a shift in that around 1994 when Mariah Carey, off the heels of her mega album, Music Box, Diamond Certified, we saw her release a Christmas album. Well, we didn't. I don't think any of us were alive at the time, but the world saw it. Huge moment in music because you have this artist who is at like the peak of their career. At that point, you know, nobody knew what was to come after that. All the peaks that were to come, really dedicating themselves to creating a Christmas album and to creating a Christmas album that is true to them, that has original songs written by them, because let us never forget Mariah, the songwriter. But it was really just a huge moment, and a moment that only became bigger as the years went on. It's not often that we have an artist write a Christmas song that becomes not just a staple, but the ultimate staple. You know, that's something we really don't see ever. Oh. And we've seen the impact of that in the later years with like Ariana Grande releasing Christmas projects early into her career. Christmas has become like an empire almost. And so as our resident pop music experts, Dante and Ari, what are some of the factors that you think made All I Want for Christmas Is You and continue to make it the holiday staple that it is?
Mariah says it all the time, like it wasn't really like something she did to be successful. It's just something that happened. She loved the Christmas season. So for her, it's just something.
I'm in my pan.